Welcome to Estella Says, the podcast that is sure to brighten your day. Hi everyone! Today is episode 10 of Estella Says. And my name is Estella and I am 7 years old. So hi everyone! I have some exciting news about this episode. Today is episode 10, and the next episode of Estella Says is gonna be season 2. Okay, that's just a fun thing I wanted to talk about. So, now let's talk about the subject of here. Okay, so today I went to the Legislature in Victoria. But what is a legislature? A legislature is an assembly of British Columbia in Victoria. So it's an assembly. You'll have to go to Victoria. And I went with my family and AutismBC. And we went inside the Parliament building, which is also kind of like the legislature. And the MLAs, and if you don't know what an MLA is, some sort of government. An NDP, which is going to break down autism funding, and the Liberals opposition is advocating for all kids to get proper supports. And the Green Party leaders is helping too. So, now let's talk about the legislature inside. Let's first talk about in the morning. So I had to wake up at 4 a.m., which is pretty early. How to mention it is like the sky's already still dark, like if it's nighttime. But it's very, very early morning, but the sun hasn't came up yet. And we also got our posters. So we got our posters because we're going to the legislature. So what we're actually going to do in the legislature is, if you were wondering, is we were going to go up in the gallery, which is basically going up with seats in it, and we're going to watch people advocate, which means like try to tell the government to not break down supports with kids. My brother and lots of kids, their fundings will be broken down. Their fundings will be broken down. So that's why they're advocating. We made those posters of kids, so the parents took pictures of kids, and then we glued the pictures onto the posters. Then we spelled, real kids need real supports. Because they actually do need real supports. That's one thing, that's why we're doing it. Because the government is going to break down autism funding, my brothers, and also a lot of kids on the autism spectrum. So that's why we made those posters. First of all, so this is how we went to Victoria. So we got ready, got dressed up, and then we went to go to Victoria. So we got our car, and then we got to the ferry, which is just really a boat. So it's just a big boat, or if you say a big ship. Yeah, you can do a lot of things there. Some things you can do in the ferry, they call it, is you could eat a little bit in there, and there's a little shop where you can get some clothes, and then not really shoes. They don't really sell shoes, and some jewelry, and a little bit of toys. So that's some things to mention, and then there's a lot of seats there. And then there's some not mirrors, but there's some windows, glass, not really glass, but a little bit like plastic glass windows so that you can see how it's going. So it's a fun one. And you actually bring your cars inside the ferry. It's somewhere there where you just bring it and then you can get out after with your car. Something that I want to tell you is, so when we were driving, we accidentally forgot the posters. So that's not really fun thing. It's not really a fun thing that we forgot the posters. So we were a little bit crying, but then we had a silver lining. So we forgot the posters at home. So then the silver lining is that in Victoria there was Staples. And then we were trying, so we said, can you please print this out, like a picture of the posters, really close one? And then they did. So that's the silver lining. So then we got to get the posters. So it was a little bit fun, better. So that's fun. And then we just moved on and went to the legislature. When we were in Victoria, fun things is we went outside. How the weather was, it was like really windy coldness. And so we just waited until they were done and then we could go in. And then one guy got us in and checked our bags. Like if you're going to go on an airport, they had to see if it's good, if you're ready, or if you're not really ready to go in. It's a little fun. Then I just went in and my family went in. And then we had a little room. It's like with a little bit of a table and also some chairs. It was a lot of chairs. So for a lot of people to sit on. Then we just sit there. And then we were just waiting for the assembly to get in. Yeah, for the assembly to go, and then we can watch them advocate. My mommy got me some snacks to eat too, and so I ate. Yeah, so then I ate some snack. Also inside the room there was 2 kids there, and I made new friends. Then my mommy had some meetings there. So they just had meetings. So in the room, we met some BC liberals in the room talking about in meetings. And then in the advocate, they were also advocating. We went into the room, into the assembly. And then it's a fun thing that they said my name in there. So that was a fun thing. And also my family. So that was fun just to hear it. I just heard a lot about it. So we're here in the legislature to try to fight so that these autism fundings won't break down. And then those BC liberals are also trying to not break it down. So they were saying like don't break it down, which is good because so that all kids can have the real support. Because real kids need real support. Yeah, so that's what happened in that legislature. And so luckily the education minister is not breaking down our online and lots of kids online school. Because minister was trying to break down online school. So we wouldn't have an online school. But luckily now I guess they changed their mind and now we have our online school. Then we went back into the room after that. So then we just waited. And then we went to the premier's office, outside, and we gave the poster to them. So then we went to that office. And also it was still pretty cold. So then it was almost time to leave. So then I put on the sweater and my family too also put on the sweater. Then we went. But the ferry wasn't there yet, the boat. So then we were thinking of going to the museum, but they weren't really open. Where we went was Toys R Us Museum, which is probably what my dad says is a museum. But it's not actually a museum, it's just Toys R Us. So then we just bought 2 toys which is like a fidget thingy. And then we just went by. And then we went back into the ferry. Then we did some stuff. In the ferry were some of people who also came, which my mommy knows. So then we went back into the ferry. That was an exciting trip. So how I felt at the legislature is, I felt okay. It was fun to go in there. And also how I would describe it for maybe some other people, it would also be a little sad that Minister is breaking down the autism funding. And did I have fun? Yes. I told you that, it was fun. And at the legislature, you have to be a little quiet, but then also try to listen to the words of the people so that you kind of understand them. So that's what another thing I would say. Okay, so the 3 important things I learned is, first thing, always listen to people's words. So for example, when you're a minister, try to actually do the right thing when you're a minister. Do the right thing so that, people won't try to be scrambling. So try to be a good person. So second important thing is, you should keep fighting. Never ever give up. Because always stick and just always never give up, because sometimes you might get it, and sometimes you just have to keep on going. You just have to keep going. Because, as I say, fight now or fight later. If you fight later, it might just be too late. So, you don't want it to be late. Otherwise, you're in big trouble now. So, probably just keep to the plan. And also, you know how we accidentally got the posters? There was always a silver lining, because we could just print them out in another kind of thing. And it still worked out. At the same time, you might be sad that you didn't get it, but also try to have fun in Victoria or somewhere else. Yeah, it's okay. There will a lot of times be a silver lining. That's something I wanted to tell you about Victoria. Okay, now it's conclusion time. Always advocate for good things even when it's hard, because you're advocating for lots and lots of people. When you're advocating is you are helping lots of people and lots of kids. Always advocate for good things even when it's hard. I will advocate for my brother and for all kids on the autism spectrum, and also all kids who need support. So before we leave the show, I would like to thank all the MLAs who took care of us at the legislature. So thank you for listening to episode 10 of Estella Says. So see you at season 2. Tune in next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to Estella Says. I hope I brighten your day. Don't forget to subscribe. Till next time.